from the Salvation Army National Headquarters,
this is the Fight for Good podcast.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Fight for Good podcast. I'm your host, Lieutenant Colonel Tim Foley. We welcome you into our temporary studios today. We are invading the office once again of our producer, Elizabeth. Thank you for having us in here.
I love having you in here. This is awesome.
It's very, very good. To my left is our editorial director, Mr. Jeff McDonald. How are you, sir?
Very good. Thank you. Good to be with you again.
And across from me is our assistant to the editorial director and our millennial expertise and fashion debonair person, Michele Katsaris. Michele, good to see you.
Good to see you.
So we got a lot of different things that we want to talk about. Primarily, this episode is devoted to the February 2020 issue of the War Cry. We feature in this War Cry a lot of different things that we're going to get to. But I think first off, we want to talk about something that's kind of heavy at this particular time on the hearts of sports fans and other people across the country. And that is the passing, the tragic death of Kobe Bryant, the NBA superstar, and his daughter, along with, I think it was 7 other people in a helicopter plane crash in Malibu Canyon yesterday, right down the street from Pepperdine and the Salvation Army's camp out at Mount Craig's. How did that news hit you, Jeff?
I was amazed at the reaction of so many people to it and how they were crushed by it and how they saw him as an exemplary person who gave 100% effort in all he did, and not only in his NBA career, but afterwards, working on behalf of children and others. So yeah, it was really something to see the outpouring of grief.
Michele, did you have any kind of response to it? You grew up you were an athlete yourself. You were a competitor, kind of growing up, right?
No, not basketball.
Not basketball, but
No,
but you played
yeah.
soccer for.
Yeah, it was just the whole thing was sad. I was telling Jeff before, just like, it's so sad that like Kobe and his daughter both passed at the same time. It was the same thing when there was like another family where it was 2 parents and 1 child. So like they had 2 more children at home. So it's just like the fact that like one whole family could just be like completely destroyed in like a second. That whole concept is so heartbreaking.
How about you, Colonel?
Well, I was just kind of like on the verge of tears. And I think part of it is we were around the LA area. Obviously, watching Kobe, play was magical. It was we didn't think after the Lakers had their Showtime era with Magic Johnson and Kareem. Then when Kobe and Shaq were playing, it was just it was pretty awesome. And my kids were raised watching the Lakers quite a bit. My son is an avid Lakers fan, and he texted me yesterday afternoon, "Have you heard that Kobe Bryant was killed?" And I was like, "What are you talking about?" Because I didn't see anything popping up like on any of my news feeds or anything. And then then it just started exploding, and it just sad. And as Michele pointed out, there's other people that were involved in tragedies like this, and at the same time, there was, servicemen were killed in Iraq over, some things.
Mm-hmm.
And, this thing kind of just had this incredible groundswell. It was interesting. I was watching Twitter as it was going. There was all these rumors that were circulating about who's dead, who's not dead, and da-da-da. It was,
yeah.
But I can remember when I was like 4 years old when John F. Kennedy was assassinated, and everybody, was crying around. Of course I was 4. I didn't kind of know what it was, but I think there's those rare moments where there's an individual that we all kind of relate to in some way, that it just kind of, for me, the big takeaway is, once again, the brevity of life,
And it's such a shock, and yet our span on the earth is really rather small given the nature of time.
We sent out a tweet from our publications page, just acknowledging our sorrow and our prayers for Kobe's family and whatnot. And there's documented proof of Kobe's support of the Salvation Army, in particular in the L.A. The Lakers, both the Los Angeles Lakers and the Los Angeles Clippers are huge supporters of the Salvation Army in the L.A. area.
Interesting, too, at this time of political turmoil and all, here's this individual who passes away, and we can all relate to that loss.
Yeah, and also he was moving into the second phase of his life. He didn't want to be known just as a basketball player. He actually, I was reading an article this morning, he wanted to be known as an investor. And, and he started investing in all kinds of different things. And that was for the good of humanity in the long run. Mm-hmm. But, when those things, I mean, there's a unified process here in the grief that just kind of hits all of us. It was kind of interesting for me to just kind of be thinking about it.
Well, also, you wrote recently about how God calls us to measure our days. Yes.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that because sometimes I know I don't try to just hit like a one drum sort of thing, but the brevity of life has been something ever since I was in a kayaking accident when I was 16 years old, near death kind of experience in Pewter Creek in Northern California. I came out of that experience just thinking about, really being intentional about, these days, making most of it. And that was something that came out of Kobe's passing. Was athletes were saying, remember to tell people that you love them, measure these moments that you have with people, because they can be taken in an instant.
And the idea of gratitude as a response to such tragedy.
But, it unfortunately, it takes an event like that maybe to, do a little bit of self-examination. And of course, then there's the theological things that come out of that. Why does God allow these kind of things to happen? And, the questioning and the cycle of grief and, and sometimes there's a whole generation that hasn't had the experience yet of being around death and dying and of significant loss. And so those are just kind of interesting stages. I scribbled down one of my favorite verses, but out of a different translation in Psalms 90, verse 12, teach us to realize the brevity of life so that we may grow in wisdom. And so I think that's a good discipline, again, using that word intentionality, like really, really being focused in these moments that you have. And even though sometimes they're difficult and sometimes they're dark and sometimes we kind of go up and down and we might question, when the psalmist says, give us a understanding, a heart of wisdom, growing in that wisdom. That's the application of what can kind of come out of something like this.
Yeah, and part of that is looking to Jesus as the author and finisher of faith, who says, fear not, I have overcome the world. And the last enemy is death. And we can look to him as that, vanquishing conqueror king.
Well, listen, we do offer our condolences. And I know by the time this goes, well, this is going to be posted pretty soon. I think
next week.
Yeah, next week
next
it goes
Tuesday.
up. So I know this is going to be around for a little bit, but we do offer our prayers and support for everyone, and it's good for people to be talking about this as well. Well, I'm excited that our February issue of the War Cry has come together. It's been dropped now, and it's in local Salvation Army units throughout the country. And for those that are subscribers, they are getting to see the new War Cry. So in this particular issue of February, we're celebrating African American Month, and you have a great article on African Americans, advocates of salvation. It's very, I love the collage. I love the layout of how that all fell together.
We just we couldn't do a chronological, comprehensive representation of the African American contribution to Salvation Army history, but we just gave a representative sampling of some of the depth, the Army's view of the worth of each individual, regardless of ethnicity or class, etc., is represented here. And this is so applicable today because you think of that movie Just Mercy that came out, and how that book, the book by the author Stevenson, talks about the need to really analyze Black history and understand the depth of deprivation that the Black world has suffered in the U.S.
Yeah, well, thanks to our staff for pulling that together, and also we had some great help with a couple of the other editorial departments of the territories, right?
Oh, goodness, yes. We relied on the Central, the South, the West, as well as our own archives and the East to supply us with these photos.
Yeah, so we appreciate that
very much.
The cooperative effort. Now, we've been talking for a few months about kind of making a visit back to Haiti, and I know that the Haiti earthquake happened 10 years ago. Our previous editor-in-chief, Colonel Allen, and his wife Esther, they were involved in Haiti in the ministry there, and so was our CRD
Right.
before. A lot of people that we had connections
Colonel
with.
Busrow,
Colonel Busrow. And we tried to send Major Swain back into the country, but we couldn't get him in. You remember that?
I do, because of the turmoil.
Turmoil. There
Yeah.
was civil unrest,
Yeah.
which continues. It's kind of out of the headlines.
And yet, despite that, the Army is fostering programs there.
So Major Swain put together an article, and you were able to summon up some current pictures of what's happening. Again, this is another one of our articles that talks about, the Army is still in these places that are hit by natural disasters. And gosh, while in this last week and a half, we've had these monster disasters in Australia and Puerto Rico, all those kind of things. But the Army is rolling the old chariot along. And
I'll tell you, selflessly giving a service at those really pressure points, tough situations, Australia in particular with those fires. Wow.
So we encourage those two articles, for example. We also have an update on what the Salvation Army is doing in Australia. Elizabeth, you handed me a long piece of paper. Am I supposed to read this verbatim?
No, just some good knowledge for you. Good
Just
content.
kind of summarize
Yeah.
it that so far the Salvation Army has distributed $8.4 million. Is that U.S. or?
That's a great question. This came from the Salvation Army Australian.
So we're assuming
Yeah.
it's Australian.
Right.
Over 42 million has been pledged since they launched a disaster appeal. I mean, it's the devastation there of those fires it's mind blowing. I don't even know how to put my
Millions
hand around
and millions of acres, I think. I don't even know total.
So they have, and I love this because this is how they're referred down under. They have over 3,000 salvos. The salvos personnel have been involved in our brush fire aid efforts, and 26 staff are currently managing dedicated telephone line for financial assistance. But anyways, we're praying, and we're glad that we're part of the efforts indirectly, or maybe even directly, in helping our friends down under. Now, there's one more unique thing in this issue that I think you want to point out.
Well, people can actually complete our survey in this issue and do so online, and enter for a chance to win AirPods Pro, which is really a neat thing. We're seeing those all over, and who can't do another pair without another pair of AirPods Pro? And that is available on our website, correct?
That is correct.
The website is
So
www.thewarcry.org/articles/survey.
But seriously, the survey is really, we're looking for readers to really provide what they look for in the magazine and to help us develop editorial content that meets their needs.
Okay, so somebody, and nobody in this office is going to walk away with those AirPod Pros.
No. There's rules, very strict rules.
Very strict rules.
That our legal team has reviewed and are online. So
Nobody
it's
related
above
to
board.
us can win.
No, it's above board.
Yeah, it's all above board. No hanky panky.
No.
It's just clear.
Right.
Because how many pairs of iPod?
This is great.
What do we call these again, kids?
AirPod.
AirPods.
AirPods. But
All
these
right.
are the
Say
AirPods
it 3
Pro.
times fast.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
I have a pair. I do.
No way.
But they're knockoffs.
Cool.
Not the same.
They don't work right
No, not the same.
because I'm going like this, and then I just take them off. I'm working on the elliptical, going.
You wouldn't have to do that with an AirPod Pro.
Yep.
They'd just be
Exactly.
chilling there, top
That
of the
is-
line.
But
Well
I
worth
don't
it.
qualify.
No.
I have to go out and buy one.
You maybe Father's Day,
Okay.
your birthday, just maybe a happy day.
No, my birthday is on a year that I don't celebrate it. See, I only celebrate
Oh.
my birthdays on the 0s and 5s.
Whoa.
So, you know.
Who doesn't
that's-
love cake?
Yeah, right.
Well, when you listen,
I love cake.
Elizabeth, when you get to a certain age,
Yeah.
there's certain things you have to kind of cut back on.
Well, you can still have like a spoonful of cake.
Yeah. But the
Well-
survey. So
Yeah.
we're looking forward to getting some real constructive feedback from that survey.
There's another feature in the work. It's the last thing I'd like to just talk about. Do you want to talk a little bit about our little cards?
Well, yes, we have changed the format of our business reply cards. We were using an envelope before, which we found exorbitant in terms of price and really not very fruitful in terms of the kind of messages we were getting in those envelopes. So the BRC is a more convenient, cheaper method of people making requests to us or choosing to subscribe to the War Cry. Readers should know, though, that those cards are handled very carefully, and the requests are filtered back down to territories, divisions, units for follow-up, so that they can connect with people who are requesting anything from how to know Christ as Savior to information about the Salvation Army, where the local corps is, etc. So it's really a useful tool.
Do you have anything else you want to bring to the table?
Just good to be a part of it. Good to be here. Thanks for all the energy that you share.
This isn't how I normally sit.
Well, sit like you normally
I
sit.
can't because we're recording.
Oh.
Because I wouldn't. Because like when Jeff talks and then he looks at me and then it makes me laugh. So I've been trying not to. I've been like looking down the.
What?
I'm
We just-
sorry.
we-
Am I
don't-
like my face?
No,
looks funny?
normally you're like over here, so
Oh.
I like don't
Oh, you're
like
like on a
make
spot?
eye contact. Yeah.
Do you have anything to say other than Jeff, don't look at me?
No, I don't like the seating arrangement.
Okay.
Okay, Elizabeth,
Okay.
will you work on that?
I got it. I got you.
When do you think we're going to be in our new studio?
I'm going to go by April.
By April.
I think at the latest of it, April 14th.
Why
April
that date?
14th. Wow.
Feeling like April 14th is a good day in April to be in the studio.
We have a whole
So specific.
multimedia studio that
Yeah.
is being set up. It's being built on the other building on the third floor.
I'm excited about it.
Yeah.
We're going to be charging into that room, aren't
We're
we?
going to look so hip. Yeah.
Yeah. You and Paul and Josh,
Yeah.
you guys just can't wait. That will be a lot of fun. Well, we want to thank everybody and for the 4 people. What was it? 5, 6 people on the Facebook. We did a little Facebook Live
This
thing.
has been fully live on the internet.
Yeah.
Uncut,
Uncut.
raw,
This is
behind
raw.
the scenes
Raw.
footage.
This is
Yeah.
not how it will come out.
This is not. It's going to be cut in like a third. But if
And
you-
why is that?
Our average listening time is a good maybe 20 minutes, so we want to cater to our audience.
Okay.
We don't want to overwhelm them with content.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And turn them away.
Right, but if they want to get 60 minutes of content,
They can.
our
they-
Facebook Live video will be fully available on the internet.
There we go.
Indefinitely. Yeah.
Something your mom can watch.
Christine's going to love this.
All right.
She's fun.
Christine?
Yes, I'm going to call her Mother.
Okay,
but
Christine.
Her real name's Christine.
Christine, your daughter is doing an awesome job.
Yeah.
She really is. We just wish she would come to work a little more often. You know, I mean, she just comes in at 12:30.
That's what I do.
Leaves at 2.
I'm a reckless millennial.
No, you're not. Both you guys are doing very well, and we're so thrilled to have you here. Well, that's going to bring to a rapid conclusion here to another episode of the Fight for Good podcast. We want to encourage you to subscribe to Fight for Good wherever you listen to podcasts, and that can be on all kinds of platforms.
Yes.
Spotify, iTunes, YouTube, Stitcher,
SoundCloud.
SoundCloud.
Uh-huh.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
Next
We're
month?
everywhere.
Will there be another one next month?
Well, we're on Facebook Live now. So Facebook.
Live.
Yeah.
Right.
We're everywhere.
Okay. So we'll continue to expand. And don't forget to follow The War Cry and Peer Magazine on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and Pinterest. Anything else that we're yet?
You've
we
got
out
it.
there?
You've captured it.
We're there. Are we at Flickr yet? And we decided we're not doing TikTok, right? We're not
I don't
doing
think
that.
our audience is TikTok.
No.
But Peer Magazine is on TikTok.
Peer Magazine's
Yeah.
on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. For the Gen Zers.
And they're really into Instagram.
yeah, they're grammars.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Grammars.
The IG.
Grammars.
Grammars. Remember that.
All right. Well, we thank you, everybody, for listening in. And until next time, this has been the Fight for Good podcast. Take care and God bless.
Subscribe to Fight for Good wherever you listen to podcasts.